This setup had clear structure, strong confluences, and aligned perfectly with my trading plan. But I didn't hold through CPI, and I'm glad that I didn't. Let me show you how I built the trade idea and how I managed the risk and stayed disciplined from start to the finish. This is a pound dollar short that I took on 11th of June, which was a very textbook setup right after a daily sweep of the highs, which is this one, and 1 hour bearish range, which I'm going to show later. Everything pointed lower, and the entry model made sense for me as well at that time. So I'm going to walk you through what I saw, how I handled hesitation during the mid session, and what made me to stuck to my trading plan. Also, I'm going to share my during session journal that was recorded during live and how I overcome some emotions which were not serving me during the live execution. So this is gonna be a very beautiful video with lots of gems inside this trade idea. So yeah, looking on the daily time frame on the pound dollar, what we have, we got this recent breakup structure. We know that we are coming off this demand, which is pretty much order flow is bearish, and this low actually broke this high but has not a candle body close above. That means we have served the high, but it's still order flow is bullish. Until and unless we don't see this kind of shift, we can't confirm that we are getting a deeper pullback. But we can early expect and anticipate that after the sweep of the highs, we got this bearish chalk. So somehow we are getting that lower time frame shift on the lower time frame, because we are looking at the fractal structure from the daily. That means this is going to be a significant breakup structure on the lower time frames. So after I shot that daily sweep of the highs, which is really clean sweep, it's not like a tiny sweep like that. It was like a clear range and clear sweep with strong shift like that. That means we may see a little bit of deeper pullback at least. Probably we can sweep this low and then probably we go. That remains to be seen. But after I saw this clean sweep of the high and we got this daily change of character, for me, I was expecting a little bit of sale opportunities if 4 hour and 1 hour aligns with my trade idea. So pretty much simple on the daily time frame. If we go on the 4 hour time frame now, what do we have? See how significant structure sweep was on the 4 hour time frame. It looks so clean. And after that, what do we got? We got this 4 hour structure break. That means we got this internal structure bearish. So that was we were looking at the daily fractal structure. We were showing like it was a daily changes of character and how that can actually be a significant piece of structure on the lower time frames, which is 4 hour time frame and the 1 hour time frame. So now this high is strong because why? This has led to this candle body close, because this was the demand that led to the break of the high. That means this was the point before the liquidation. Now once we got that a clean interaction between demand and supply from here, because we know that we got this demand that caused the break of the high by a wick break. So if we were seeing that another bullish pressure, then we would have continued from here. But instead, what do we have? We reacted into this demand and then supply took over. That means now the order flow is bearish. After that, what we got? We got this bearish order flow continue. And the really important thing that I really want to emphasize and I really like is that see how the impulsive move is from the after we shot the high. That means it feels like this is a very healthy bearish trend, because we got this impulsive move, quite corrective. It's not that corrective, but still we got this corrective pullback and another impulsive move. Now we pull back immediately into the supply range and see how wicked, and the candle of this close is really and it shows that we have a bearish pressure coming in from the supply. That means after we got that bearish changes of character, we know that this low is weak. Yes, we are coming from this 4 hour demand, but combining with the daily sweep, with the daily changes of character and the 4 hour internal being bearish with this clean bearish range, I was expecting to play a little bit of sales move, probably to run the lows, and then we'll reassess what happens. So, and now if we go on the 1 hour time frame, 4 hours was pretty clean, and from the daily, from the 4 hour, I was way more importance on the bear on the sales. So looking on the 1 hour time frame now, we have a really clean structure. So we know that we got this breakup structure. We pull back into this premium range. We got this impulsive breakup structure. We pull back immediately into the supply range. Right? I didn't really like this impulsive nature of the price action. Normally we would have impulsive move followed by correction pullback and then another impulsive move. Nonetheless, it was a decent pullback into this premium range, and we got this another sharp fall from the supply range. So the main key here is like we got the breakup structure. We pulled back into this EQ already. So this is a very significant pieces of zone. Why? Because it has led to this breakup structure very convincingly, and yeah, we pulled back into this extreme, and now we got a strong shift. That means the demand that was holding at the minute, which was this one, what do we have? We got reaction here. So at this point we didn't know, are we gonna push higher or are we gonna push lower, because we are fighting battle between supply and demand. So this really was a key to what's gonna happen for the next. So if we are gonna see this hold, then probably we can expect that probably we are gonna go to run the daily high. Why? Because the daily structure is still bullish. But what do we have instead? We got a reaction from the bulls, impulsive bearish. See how impulsive the move is? This shows that we are in a pretty much healthy bearish market at the moment, at least to run this low. Also from the 4-hour perspective, we know this low is weak. Combining all these factors, and 1 hour is also showing pretty much clean bearish move. I was expecting a sell move from this POI to run this low. So this was exactly pre-Frankfurt London, pre-London Open, I think. So yeah, this was at 6 a.m. London time, and main game plan was to have a nice corrective pullback here to play the quick sell move to run the low. So that would be enough for me to hit 1:2 from this POI. That was the game plan pre-session. I was only favoring sells. For longs, I would really want to see a clear interaction between supply here, and then bull stepped in, so that I will have a fresh demand to play buys, because at this point we will have a confirmation that probably this daily demand is gonna hold. Until then, if we had a nice clean entry model from here, then sales would be much high probability for me. So if we go on M15 now, and we'll just go over 1 hour and an M15 together. Let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so I was expecting, I was just waiting for PO mitigation during session, which we do not have at 6 a.m. So we will just use our bar replay. We never had a PO mitigation. So remember, if I don't have PO mitigation, I'm not gonna trade, right? We break this low, but we haven't. The main objective for this trade idea is to run this week low, but we haven't run the week low yet. So for me, the trade idea is still valid until and unless we don't see this week low taken out. Okay, we got to push down. It's still fine. Now what do we have? We even have this clean inducement just below. That means this POI is much high probability now. It has a flip. It has swept liquidity coming from this extra premium ranges. Now if we even have this clean inducement just in front of it, that means that's gonna make a little bit of high probability to run the lows. So we are pretty much to run the lows. So normally we see a to run the low, and we will run the low, and then we can see the sharp retrace. But until then, it's more than valid if we pull back correctively into the POI, and then we can jump into our lower time frame to play the sell idea. Alright, so looking at the M15, what do we have? We have this clean M15 lead that I can use for my entry model. Now, going next candle. What do we have? We got this PO mitigations. Now, I think we got the PO mitigation. Yep, we got the PO mitigation. So now I'm just trailing my stop order, because for me, the trade idea is still valid. So what are the confluences for this trade idea for me? One is we are coming from the premium range. We're coming from the PO that swept liquidity. We have flipped. We have clean inducement. We have liquidity to target. So this has all the confluence that I have from the medium time frame and the 4-hour time. The main negative confluence that I have is daily is still order flow is still bullish, but still there is not much going on here. We don't have anything left except we can use this as internal range liquidity sweep to push the price higher, but still 4-hour and 1 hour was showing to the bearish, at least to run the lows. If we fail this one, it doesn't really matter, right? This is according to my trading plan. So now all I need is so I'm gonna position myself onto this bear shot, and I trail my stop loss, stop order, which would trigger not here, so I still trail my order. I think it's gonna trigger me around here. So buy stop here, stop loss protecting above the highs. I would get tagged in over there, and now I'm using 2.122R, which is more than enough for me to hit around this one. So I don't care like what happens after that, but this was the game plan since the beginning of the session, right? So yeah, at this point I got triggered into the trade. Let's see what happens. And because of the CPI, I think it was CPI was about to release at 130. This was 1, so I exited at 115. This trade was really clean, but I had to exit at a little bit of loss. I'll say that as a break even, because it was probably around here. And during the CPI, it just exploded to the upside. So yeah, the game plan was to run the lows. We didn't run the low, but this was a very, very high probability setup, at least for me, because the daily was suggesting a little bit of downside as well, and the 4 hour was perfectly aligned. 1 hour was clean bearish. And so now looking back to the other side, if I position myself to the other side, what do we mitigate it into? We mitigated this extreme, and we use this sell side liquidity sweep to push the price down. So what I was saying, if we got this clear interaction here, then probably we can play this bullish move. So now we have this fresh demand. So yeah, next day or next session, we can definitely look for the bullish trends, because now it's going to be outside session for me. And also after the news, price can be a little bit volatile. So that was a very, very clean trade. Also now I'm going to share my during Shareshell journal, what I was saying and what I was thinking during the live execution, because there were lots of emotional decision fluctuation. You know, I was thinking differently, and I was thinking differently later. So this all writing this psychology journal during the session has helped me to become the objective in the live market. And yeah, we'll just go over quickly over this. So during session, what happened at 9:10? So this was recorded live. I was just typing in, and at 9:10, I don't really like this bullish momentum into the supply. It's not valid for me to play sales using LC1. It's a break aggressive, and I'll wait for LC2A. So I was not planning to use LC1, which is the aggressive entry model for me, which which was this one. Rather, I was waiting for LC2A, and later at 9:14, after 4 minutes, even though we are coming with the momentum, I think it still makes sense to play sales using LC1, because there is very less likely to form LC2A now, because the medium time frame is very clearly visible. So this trade was actually, it's more than valid for me to according to the trading plan. I didn't really like this bullish momentum coming into the POI. That was just the fear side of talking, because I just wanted to avoid the loss, I think. So, and looking back again with a clear head, I realized that it's valid, and it's more than valid for me to use this lead, because there will be less likelihood of forming a fake break and the liquidation of the fake break, because we already mitigated at the extreme. Now time for it to roll over. So there is not going to be much order to push the price higher. And if I wait for another liquidation to go, then that would be, the POI will fail and the trade idea would not be valid. So being objective with that, and being aware of all the scenarios that has discussed here, it was more than valid for me to play sell. And what happened at 9:18, after 4 minutes, I don't really like 9:15 candle, which was this one. Because if I had used this candle for, I mean, it didn't trigger the sell stop, but I didn't place the order as well, because if I had put my stop order here, I would have my stop loss here, which was very in a bad area, because I really want to cover this stop loss behind the POI, and I had to target really past for the 2 hour, which is this one. I didn't that's not my trade plan, so I skipped that one, and I wrote here as well, right? I didn't really like the 9:15 candle, because our risk reward is poor until the week until the week low, and we're gonna skip the candle and wait for deeper mitigation. That's exactly what happened. 9:30, more than valid for me to play sales using LC1. So yeah, all the positive confluence, like I discussed earlier, POI form to sweep, inducement just in front of it, liquidity to target, trading into nothing. Remember, we are trading into nothing. Like, yes, this was demand, there was 4 hour demand, but it was already made a decent reaction, so probably it's done for me already. And yeah, not a fan of this LC1 because of impulsive move on the price M15, but I think this is just a fear talking to avoid loss. Exactly, because I didn't like this impulsive nature of price action into the supply, but that was just a fear talking, because I have seen this in the backtesting. This has worked plenty of times, and that was just a fear talking. Really key to acknowledge that one, and to be aware of that. While I wrote these confluences, I realized that there are not much negative confluence, to be honest, and I was just not confident before. Main negative confluence was just the daily that we were still bullish, and that can be just a internal range liquidity sweep to push the price higher. And if we go on the next one, LC2A will be better, but there is always chance to miss the move if we wait for the confirmation. So because this setup was a very it was high end of medium probability trade for me, I didn't want to miss the move. And there will always be the pros and cons, right? If I had waited for LC2A, probably I wouldn't have gotten into the market, but this trade was more than valid. So at 10:45, I like the intro candle being a bit large because I see this as extra confirmation rather than small candle. So yeah, this was valid. I think it was 10:42, which was this one. So I exited at this point. So I was talking about this candle after it printed that one. 10:46, if I position myself into the other side, that is for buys, it's very low probability. That's gonna make high probability for me to play sales. So we do not have the clear intention into the supply, which are marked as inducement for the POI above. So yeah, you know, like it would be different if we had that this was POI form to sweep, and then we should that move, and now I will be a little bit cautious that like this is now formed to the sweep. I would be a little bit conservative with that because this was just a straight push. Normally whenever we have that POI form to sweep range and we have this sharp push up and then push down, and normally when we get that pullback, often that can become the inducement to mitigate the price down and then roll down to the downside. And if we look at the 11.2, main negative now is CPI, so it's in 2 hours 15 minutes. Overall, very valid trade. Happy about the stop loss as well because it was just behind the POI, and it's well priced. So yeah, it was really a good trade. Just because of the CPI, I had to close. Otherwise, it would be a loss. It doesn't really matter whether it's a win or loss. I executed my trade plan, and I was fully aware of the trade plan and the execution at the time. So this really was a very important trade for me, regardless of the outcome. Yeah, so yeah, this trade ended at break even, right? But I'm still proud of how I executed. The setup was more than valid. The plan was simple and clear, and I managed it with discipline, you know, like because there was a bit hesitation about around this area, but I executed my trading plan being objective. And yeah, if this breakdown gave you value, then yeah, drop a comment below, let me know. Also, if you guys journal during live session when you're unsure, I think that's gonna help you massively. Well, it has helped me to stay grounded and find my weaknesses and strengths, so it's gonna help you as well. Just give it a try. And yeah, sometimes I really need to write what I'm saying and what I'm feeling. This way it makes me really logical at the time, and price action, I really see them pretty much objectively because I can point out what did I do wrong. So while I wrote this one during the live market, I really it has helped me to build my confidence during the execution time, because I realized like there was a lot of confluences for this trade to trade, and I rather be aggressive and capture the move rather than being very conservative on the high probability setup. So yeah, and if you are serious about trading and want to see more real like this, you know, like in-depth breakdowns with this psychology journal, then yeah, make sure to subscribe. I post every week. I mainly focus on the trade that I executed during the live market. So if I don't have any trades, then probably we can talk about anything else like psychology tips and everything, how I do my pre-session, how I do my recaps, how I backtest. We can talk about that. Just let me know. And yeah, I appreciate the time. Gonna see you in the next time. Cheers, guys.